it has been nearly 30 years since she launched her American chat show. And most recently, we saw the actress star in And Just Like That. But now Rosie O'Donnell is returning to her first love as she brings her new comedy show to Edinburgh Fringe this week. And she joins us now, live from Dublin. Good morning, Rosie. Firstly, how have you settled into your new Irish home? It's been about 6 months now, hasn't it?
Yeah, we got here actually in January, and we bought this house in Sandymount, and it is absolutely gorgeous. It's my favorite home I've ever owned, and it's so quaint and full of light. And I just think that this is the best decision I could have made for myself and my child. I love it here. We've been welcomed by everyone, and my little one, who's 12, said, "You know, Mommy, it's better here because you can be a normal person." Which I thought was so beautiful, coming from the mouths of a kid.
Absolutely, yes. But you have a genetic tie. I mean, your family are all Irish, so there was a natural pull.
Yes, for sure. We did that DNA test, 23andMe, and it came back 100% Irish. So there was never a question for me where I would go if I had to leave the country because of the political climate. And that's what I felt I had to do. And I'm so glad that this is where we came. And I'm so thrilled at the warm welcome that we've received.
That's wonderful. I'm sure people are still quite shocked to see you, though, although you couldn't fool the local lollipop lady, I believe.
No, we don't have that. We have crossing guards, but they're not full of life like the lollipop lady. There she is, Angela. And the first day of school, I saw her tailing every kid's name, like, "Hello, Michael. Hello, Patrick. Hello, Sean. Hello, Noreen. Hello, Doreen. Hello, Eileen." She knew everyone's name, and she was quite a character. And about 2 weeks after I had been there, dropping my kid and picking her up every day, she said, "Clay's mom, what's your name?" And I said, "Rosie." And she said, "What's your surname?" I said, "O'Donnell." She said, "Oh, just like the famous actress." And I said, "No, that's me." And she said, "I'd know her anywhere with her long raven hair. You're not Rosie O'Donnell. Don't you be pretending to be." And it wasn't until I did the Late Late Show that she finally realized that I wasn't lying at all.
She believed you eventually. Yeah. I love that. There'll be plenty more stories like that down there, let me tell you, Rosie. You mentioned the political climate in the US, Rosie, and it's a big shift to move countries, as much as you're loving it now. Of course, it's a big shift, particularly when children are involved. But you were very motivated to do so because of just the current climate back home and this ongoing, very public feud with the president. I mean, does this physical distance that you have now from America, have you changed your feelings? Maybe you don't want to change your feelings, but has it allowed you to sort of distance yourself from the intensity of all of that experience?
100%, because, I had an interaction on television where I talked about him in 2006, and I made fun of his hair and did what comedians have been doing for years. And he went really crazy. He just could not get himself to get over it for over 20 years. And he uses me as a punching line and disparages me and insults me and calls me names like it's a kid in school and I'm being teased. But when I talked about him, he was not the president. He was a reality show host, and he was a little bit of a joke in New York, where I grew up. If you grew up in New York, you watched his planes get repossessed off the runways at LaGuardia. You watched him grift everyone with this steak business and a fake university that he got sued for. And so nobody really took him seriously in 2006 at all. And then he becomes the president of the United States. And does he stop? No, he puts the pedal to the metal and uses my name in the debate. And it was difficult for my children and difficult for my 12-year-old who has autism. When he got the Republican nomination this go round, I had read the Project 2025, and it said exactly what they planned to do. And I knew I could not stay in my country and be a healthy parent that I need to be for this child with all of this destruction going on to the country that he had planned and now, in fact, has implemented. So it really was self-preservation. I knew that I had to take care of myself mentally and emotionally, and being here has given me that distance. And I don't live in fear of what someone's going to say to me in Walmart, even though most people are very kind. The MAGA people, are emboldened by his cruelty to be just as cruel, even to my face. So I knew for my own safety and health that I had to leave. But he hasn't stopped. He just threatened to take away my citizenship a couple of weeks ago in a Truth Social, a misnomer if there ever was one, website. He can't do that legally, although the Supreme Court has given him pretty much free rein. And he's breaking all kinds of laws as he sits there and continues the grift of selling things from the White House. It's kind of unbelievable.
It's incredible.
Taking gifts from other countries. And so it's worked out better for me to be away.
And you
I'm
feel
very
like
grateful.
a happier version of yourself where you are certainly at the moment, Rosie.
Yes,
and
without a
interestingly,
doubt.
we know President Trump's in Scotland at the moment. We do believe he will have left the country before you enter it, because you're heading to Edinburgh, of course, for the Edinburgh Fringe Festival with your show Common Knowledge. Tell us a bit about what we can expect from that.
Well, it's not a traditional stand-up show. It's more of a one-woman show, but there's tremendous amount of comedy. But I tell the story of my life, of my mother's death when I was 10 years old, of my father taking us back to Ireland and Scotland after she died that summer, and about me trying to become a parent without having a parent, trying to be a mother without having a mother. I have 5 adopted children, and there are 4 of them. The first 4, the original 4, are between 22 and 30. And then I adopted the little baby there, Clay, who's now 12, when I was 50. So it's about that. It's about the journey and what I've learned and the trip abroad and moving and what that's felt like for me. And it's a beautiful show. We did the premiere of it here in Dublin the other night at the 3 Olympia Theater. And it was a standing ovation, and they clapped and clapped. I had to come out a bunch of times to take another bow, and I was so moved. I started to cry at the 3rd time I was bowing. I was like, this is almost too much to take in. It's been so beautiful here for me and my child, and I'm eternally grateful.
Well, Rosie, back doing what you do best, of course, on stage. An absolute pleasure to talk to you this morning, Rosie. Thank you. I'm so glad you're settling in back there. It's a good part of the world.
Thank you. Continued success. I hope to see you soon in real life.
Thank you so much, Rosie. And you can watch Rosie at the Edinburgh Fringe from Friday the 1st until the 10th of August. Hi there. Thanks for watching our YouTube channel, where we upload new videos every single day. You can click here if you're interested in this video, or head to the homepage for some more amazing content.